Welcome to Car Con Carne, the podcast I do in a car most of the time. I'm James Van Osdol, and before I begin today's show, before I introduce today's guest, and before we eat food, I want to talk to you, the Chicago or suburban Chicago homeowner. As a homeowner here in the Midwest, your house can take a beating from the elements. Winter storms, spring storms. Your house can get battered about. If you think you may have damages that could qualify you for a roof and or siding replacement through your insurance, talk to my friends first at Suburban Roofing and Siding. They'll give you a free 9-point inspection of your property exterior before you call the insurance company. Let them assess any damages you may have and walk you through the steps of a claim, hassle-free. They're an accredited member of the Better Business Bureau with an A+ rating, and all their contractors are licensed, bonded, and insured. They also use the highest quality materials available at no additional charge to you. Call 224-677-6149, 224-677-6149, or visit them at suburbanroofingandsiding.com. Car Con Carne also brought to you by 90 Days in the 90s. I'm sure you've heard me talk about this book. Andy Fry wrote it, and it's a love letter to the Chicago music scene of the 90s. It's a fiction book, a time travel story, but at the core of this time travel story is this magnificent music scene you may remember, or maybe you've heard of it, heard about it, heard the stories about the locations, whether it's lounge acts or, of course, Metro, all the things that were happening in and around the city during that time. Darby, in the book, goes back in time and soaks in all that nostalgia music, all those moments. Get a copy of this book. You can get it on Amazon, or you can get it through the website, 90daysin90s.com.
It's Car Con Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Car Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Osdol.
So it is Car Con Carne. I'm James Van Osdol. Chicago post-punk band. Is that fair to call you post-punk?
Yeah, I prefer art rock.
I prefer art rock, too.
To separate a bit from the... I don't know. I feel like every time I read about music, it says post-punk.
Chicago art rock
Thank you.
band, FACS, returns with Still Life in Decay in April. To my right, if you're watching this on video, is Brian Case.
Hello.
He is singer and guitarist in FACS. Your band always sounds like Chicago to me. There's something...
Thank you.
Distinctly Chicago.
That is a high compliment.
So it's no accident. I mean, the sounds of this city, the vibe of this city just filter into what you write and record.
Yes. Very much a part of, or a product of this place. So I'm glad that comes through.
So we're recording outside Red Hot Ranch in Lakeview. I have hot dogs. And we're recording this on March 12th, Daylight Savings Day. I feel hungover. I didn't drink last night. I feel hungover.
Yeah.
I started to go to bed at 2 a.m., and then I realized, oh shit, it's actually 3 a.m.
Yes.
What have I done?
Yeah, I woke up and it was already 11, and that's about 4 hours later than I normally wake up, so.
All right, these are depression dogs. So the dogs are rolled up with the French fries.
Nice.
We have one without tomatoes for you. I can't tell what this says.
Chicago style?
So this would
Let's
be...
try this, yeah.
Okay.
I think we can do
Fingers
it.
crossed.
Yeah.
It's molten hot.
Yes. These are warm.
I hope you're hungry.
I am. Thank you.
And we got lots of napkins here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is going to be brutal to eat in the car.
Yeah.
Brian, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's why we're here.
That is why we're here.
Entertainment.
Well, we're here to talk about FACS.
Yeah.
One of the many things I love about FACS, every year we get new music from you.
Yes.
I mean, that's the way the Beatles used to do it.
It's true.
That's intentional, isn't it?
It is. The band is, outside of being an outlet for, to make music, it's also our artistic output, and that doesn't stop based on album cycle or, when the right time to do something is, what would make sense for a label. It's all based on us being productive and creative, and those things are like muscles. You have to keep using them. So our goal is to kind of make 30 minutes of music every year, and that seems to be extremely reasonable, and about a good amount of material to put out for people to still see where we're at, but also not kind of overwhelm things. So,
Well, for working on that kind of timetable, certainly nothing about FACS sounds rushed. I mean, the production is, I mean, it's methodical menace. It's nuanced. It's layered. It sounds like it sounds like 2 years in a recording studio.
yeah. Almost, I think every record we've made, we record for 3 days and then and then mix it after that. So, part of the thing is also like capturing a moment and being present and using the situation and the studio and just this X amount of time to document and create. So we don't labor over things. We rehearse regularly. We write, we talk about things, we have really open communication, but we are not precious about spending years like on a record. We want to document the moment and move on. So
Because with a lot of artists, the more time you spend finessing and worrying about the music, you kind of reach a point of diminishing returns, don't you?
Yeah.
There's something to be said for just, this is where we're at, this is who we are right now.
Yeah, we're confident in what we're doing. We like to go into the studio about 80% done so that we can let, the spirit of the room kind of influence decisions.
And do you just bash it all out together when you songwrite?
Yeah, just in a room, playing. Someone comes in with an idea or something just generates out of a conversation and everybody kind of does their thing. We always are recording the rehearsals just to, have a reference to go back to, talk about. And after we usually get a few things working, we start to talk about what, if this was an album, what would it need? What's missing? What are the parts that aren't here yet? And just kind of let, those things, let the song sort of dictate what's coming, what's needed. Yeah, try to just be organic and let things happen on their own.
I think something that a lot of fans, casual observers of FACS point out is that the rhythm section of FACS is astonishingly tight. So as guitarist and as a co-songwriter, how do you go through that or weave around that rhythm section?
I try to just stay out of their way. Like, they're, Aliana, Noah, and Jonathan as well, who's playing with us now, they're so good at what they do. I like to introduce a mood or atmosphere and let them sort of dictate what the feel is going to be. Even sometimes like just how the song is gonna begin and end, and I just sort of try to lay in the cut and let them carry the song, and I'm just mood and atmosphere, and that's how I would describe my role in that band.
Talking about the art rock label at the beginning of this interview, I've seen people refer to your band as a heavy band. You're dark, but you're not heavy.
I hear elements of heavy music, but also, to me, like, heavy means so much more than, like, metal. You know what I mean? So I take it as more like the gravity and, like, the tension, because the music is very tense, and it's a lot of, like, propulsion and building and simmering. There's not a lot of release, and I think people hear that as heavy.
Okay, speaking of that tension, I was listening to Still Life and Decay, again, the new release coming out in April. I was listening to Constellation, and I was in my home office where I do a lot of my work. My son walked in, as I was listening. He's 21, and he's like, "That sounds menacing." Like, he picked up on it right away, like that tension. And that song, what a great intro to this new release. I mean, that is all tension.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're talking about.
It is, exactly.
And I love, in that song especially, but this is something that FACS does, it takes lots of interesting turns. Where a song starts for FACS is not often where it ends up.
Correct. I think that's because we don't. No one in the band writes a song and brings it in and expects it to be played as it's presented. So what we're doing a lot of times is just kind of jamming things that parts evolve out of parts, or finding interesting ways to put two things together that were never meant to coexist.
I love that.
Yeah, Constellation's a good example of that because it was two things that started as different songs combined. So And I feel like you can kind of hear like a beginning and an end of that song. Like, there's a very clear break in the middle where everything drops out and it's just guitar, and that's, the second part of that song. But we do that a lot where we're just trying to find ways to put together ideas that don't necessarily correlate, and that's an influence from like This Heat, or just a lot of experimental music where it's just combining elements like that are out of sync.
Still Life in Decay, again, the name of the new release. Is that a statement of what we're living in now?
It's about things feel like, even not in this like pandemic world, but a lot of, it's like the days are long but the years go by quick, that kind of thing. It's like you can feel very static and still notice this change when you kind of look back or kind of examine your surroundings. So it's kind of a comment on that.
You're about to do a bunch of shows. You're doing local shows here in Chicago in April. What are the dates? I'm sorry.
We have 2 record release shows at the Empty Bottle, April 7th and 8th.
Perfect. Now, when you perform, I guess, what is performing? What does touring mean to you? Is that a chance to explore these songs even further?
Yeah, it's fun to like put these things in a room under certain circumstances and just see what happens, and sort of how the crowd, how the venue, how the day like affects these things that have become permanent because you've made like an official document of them.
I like not knowing for sure what a show is going to turn out to be.
If we knew exactly what it would be, I don't think we'd put as much thought into touring or wanting to tour as we have.
One thing that I find interesting about FACS, it is all about the music with your band. The music is your statement. So much so that even on stage, we don't see much of you. You're kind of shrouded behind the music.
Yeah, the music is why we're all there.
But that's almost antithetical to the way the world operates now.
Yeah.
Everyone's
okay
a star.
that.
Everyone's a celebrity because of that computer they carry around in their pocket.
Yeah.
But you are all comfortable enough in the statement you're making, and you're like, we don't need to put our face on it.
Yeah, that's not an aspect of any aspect of this band. Like, we're there to play music. We're not there to get on stage and talk and tell jokes. Or, I want to talk to every person in the room. Let's talk after the show. We're just going to get up, play for 45 minutes, and get off stage.
Let's talk a little bit about the songs on the new album, Still Life in Decay. You talked about setting an atmosphere or a mood. There's a lot of that going on here. Most specifically to me, Still Life. That song is hypnotic.
Yeah.
And half the song is like instrumental soundscapes.
Yeah, that song was written in the studio. I had the first kind of guitar part, and we just kind of jammed that for a while and talked to, that's an example of like, we had recorded the songs that basically the A side was completely figured out, and the B side we knew would be the song, what's it called? What's the last song called? New Flag. And we knew that this other thing would be on it. We're like, what if we made the B side of this record like just kind of this ambient like whole like piece? Like the B side is this whole other mood than the A side.
Okay, I picked up on that.
Yeah.
And this goes back to a topic that pops up every now and then, the art of sequencing.
Yes.
In a world where so much music is consumed a la carte, song by song, I think that is still an important part of making an artistic statement, is how does this vision, these songs, how do they flow together?
Yeah. We make albums because we're a group of people that listen to albums. You know what I mean? So that's how we think about, when we're recording, when we're putting stuff together, like kind of like what I was saying earlier, like what does this need? Like with this collection of songs, it's like a lot of, let's say, aggressive sounding things. We should temper that with something different. So Still Life's a perfect example of that. We knew we needed something that was different from the A side. We knew we had this idea that the B side could be something completely its own, and that song kind of guided us through that.
What's interesting to note, we have different hot dog strategies. Now, the Depression Dog is a hot dog wrapped up in French fries. For me, I feel like I need to get through the French fries before I can eat the hot dog. I've got to kind of tunnel my way through. You went hot dog first.
I went hot dog in the middle. I kind of got the fries to a situation where I was comfortable to get into the dog, and then I went for the dog.
Not a bad strategy.
Yeah. It's successful.
When You Say is a song on the new album. There's a video out for that, and I loved one of these YouTube comments. Saw them perform this in Brooklyn a few weeks ago, and it was face melting. The drummer is a fucking machine.
Yes. True.
True story, confirmed.
That's not a comment, that's a fact.
This is a song of few words. Mm-hmm. Is there a story behind the few words?
It's about me talking to my kid, basically, about them eventually needing to move on from our home life, and sort of how I've thought about when I left home and the distance I needed, and the way you the whole record's about relationships and sort of how they come in and out of focus, and how people deal with changes in their lives and the people that are involved in those changes, and how you just kind of come in and out of people's lives. And that's that song in particular is about family and how it changes over time.
I know it's coming. I can't change that.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
One of the more I talked about the hypnotic nature of some of what you do. The song's slogan is mesmerizing. Empathy has a slogan. Mm-hmm. Explain that.
I guess it's about, I don't know, perception, like how you view yourself, how you want to live, how you would like the world to operate around you, and just the simple fact that that's not reality. You can want things and you can advocate for change, and I think everybody needs to do what they feel is right, but until more people I feel like realize the shift, it's going to be hard for, I think, the change that's necessary to actually take place.
You mentioned New Flag, and now knowing your vision of putting those more ambient songs on the B-side, this is the epic closer.
Yeah.
This is the farewell statement for this round of FACS.
Yes, definitely. Mm-hmm.
This sounds like a band just... You used the word confident earlier. A band that's just confident in just taking things wherever they want to go.
Thank you. Yeah, that song came out. It was kind of built around this guitar part that I thought sounded like the band Polvo. I don't know if you're familiar with them. I was kind of trying to bring in this Polvo ripoff and see what happened with it, and that's what happened. It turned into something completely different, which is why I love collaboration, especially with the people that I've been able to play with.
So Empty Bottle in April, the 7th and 8th?
Yep.
Is that kind of a home for you?
Definitely, 100%. We love it there. We all grew up there, literally. So yeah, it's really special. Every band I've ever been in, his favorite place to play has always been Empty Bottle. It's just, when I moved here, it had just opened, and I was able to grow with it, and so that will always be home for us.
That said, what was Riot Fest like for you?
It was awesome. It was really fun. I had been to Riot Fest to see friends play, and just because it's a great festival, but playing was cool. I mean, hometown shows are always fun. Festivals are always a bit odd because for a band like us, we love the Empty Bottle because we're able to really control that room too.
Yeah.
Really just be the presence there, and when you play a festival, it's not about that at all. So we kind of cater our set a little bit more to some of the more direct hits as opposed to some of the more exploratory things. But it's fun. I got to see a lot of people I wouldn't normally see. We definitely played for people that had never heard of us.
Yeah, that's the appeal.
We had a 30-foot video wall behind us.
That's
which
amazing.
Was super fun.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
So the new release comes out next month, Still Life in Decay. We're going to keep hearing from you every year with new music.
Hopefully.
Like the Beatles.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they only had 7 years, so
True.
I guess we got a couple left.
That is a compressed time frame. But I love the sound of your band. I started this conversation by saying this sounds like Chicago to me. This sounds like all the cool shit I grew up listening to in the 90s.
Thank you.
And when I say grew up, I mean in my 20s. But the stuff that was formative.
Yeah,
For
I
me.
mean that's what that's what's coming from us. That's where we are too. We really all turned. I mean, I turned 18 in 1995, so, and I moved to Chicago because I was so influenced by what was happening here with Touch and Go and Thrill Jockey and Tortoise and Jesus List. Like just so many things that were like inspiring, and I still feel so lucky to be able to still live here, be able to still be playing music, and just kind of be a part of what's happening.
Side question: you mentioned the Jesus Lizard.
Yes.
Best album.
Oh God.
I think it's between two. It's Goat or Liar.
I think it's Goat. I think at first it was Liar, and now I would say Goat.
I go back and forth.
Yeah.
I could also make a case for a lot of what's on Down.
Yeah, I love the head down like combo. That to me was really cool because you get it's two sides. I love when it's two sides are so different from each other, and that's a great example of that.
I can also make a case for a lot of what's on Shot.
Oh,
I know that's an unpopular thing to say, but I think that album holds up.
I don't know if that's unpopular as it is. I don't think like most people I know who would probably have a Jesus Lizard tattoo, maybe never even listen to Shot because they were just so mad that it existed, But Andy Gill produced it, right? Yeah. See, I couldn't name one song on it. Maybe if I listened to it, I would recognize stuff.
Give that one another
I'll listen to it today.
shot. I mean, speaking of rhythm sections.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
That's them.
Undeniable.
Undeniable.
Yeah.
FACS is undeniable to me. I love the sound of your band. I love this new stuff that's coming.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you. And keep doing what you do.
Thank you. And the same. Really appreciate this.